So let me call the regular meeting to order, and then we can discuss this proposal. So we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Jamin, will you guide us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please stand if you're able. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, I have two proposals for amendments for this evening. One, I'd just like to add an additional citizens' comments after approval of the agenda. I know some folks want to talk about some of the things that are under finance, so I want to give them the opportunity to do so before we get to finance. So we'll just move it to the new item D and just bump all the letters down so we can have citizens' comments earlier. Okay, and then there's a memo that I received today from the Director of Public Works, Lou Spina, regarding a proposal to create a full-time parks grounds maintainer from the seasonal employee budget. Essentially, it looks like what he's proposing is hiring a full-time position and eliminating the part-time positions that we had prior budgeted. So let's add it to the agenda under Public Works, item K1, and then we can see why he wants to do this and what it's about and if we want to support it or not. If that's okay. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Town Manager, to add to the agenda? No, sir. Okay, hearing none. Can I have a motion to accept those two recommended amendments?
So moved.
Made by Jamin, second by Al. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of those amendments, please indicate by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Now may I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
Motion approved.
Made by Al, second by Jack. Any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Okay, we are going to begin with commission chairman reports and staff reports. So let's begin with the town engineer, who is going to be presenting an update on the WIZ field design options from the updated study.
Good evening. John Harriman, Town Engineer. Back in January, we had a joint meeting with Board of Finance and some of you guys regarding the preliminary analysis of the fields up at the WIS. There were some concerns raised at that meeting, the primary one being the elevation of groundwater. So working with Weston and Sampson, we identified 9 dry wells throughout the campus and installed 2 additional monitoring wells. So myself and my staff member, Mike Shawokas, have been monitoring groundwater levels out there on a weekly basis since January 22nd to the present day. And we observed high groundwater elevation about I think it was the 3rd week of March. My memo details that. And when we compared that to the proposed design, we found that we have more than a foot of vertical clearance between the bottom of our stormwater management system and the high groundwater elevation observed this year. So it kind of observed what I've seen in the field over the years. I've always heard that there's a high groundwater problem out there, and I bet that from time to time there could be. But you have very restrictive soils, and the primary problem you have out there is that the water just isn't going down into the ground. It's also not going down into your dry wells, which is another thing we observed during this time. We observed the levels in the 2 newly installed monitoring wells to be much lower than those in the dry wells, and we're attributing that to the fact that those dry wells are 15 years old, are clogged with sediments as dry wells do, and it takes a while for the water to dissipate from them. So with that, at this point, we've allocated funds for the preliminary study, which is complete, and we've allocated funds for the final design. And since there's 3 options, we need to pick one of the 3. Staff recommendation is in your memo, and I'm looking for a consensus from this board as to which direction for a final design you wish to pursue. Number 3. I thought I said that.
Sir, we just had a discussion on that with the presentation that company gave to us, who was going to be doing the work. Correct me if I'm wrong. They gave us a presentation, and
Yeah, that's on page 2 of my memo. That's on page 2 of the memo. That information is on page 2. That's a 2-page memo. You gotta look at. That's what I thought I said, but yes, I need you guys to pick one of the 3. Staff is recommending option 3, looking for a consensus. The intent is to, have a shovel-ready project. Not looking for funding to build any of the 3 at this time. We would be able to pursue grants. Many of the grants that we see today require a shovel-ready approved project in order to even just to apply.
Yeah, so I think, the 3 different options, right, we need to engineer for one of them. So we really need to make a decision between option 1, option 2, and option 3 in order for you to go ahead and do the engineering, correct?
Well, our consultant would perform the
Yeah.
engineering, but yes.
So I'm going to look over at Sharon, our finance director. So I think we probably need to have another joint meeting with Board of Finance to talk about the fiscal impact. I mean, this is just my opinion, about the fiscal impact of the 3 different options, so we can understand, grants are great. If we don't get a grant and we have the shovel-ready plan, do we have a alternative feasible way to fund it without bankrupting ourselves? We just sat through a very difficult budget cycle where, we had a mill rate increase, and we have talked about and had discussions about the possibility of a small, tiny bond to cover this and maybe 1 or 2 other miscellaneous projects. But before we shoot from the hip and commit the rest of the funding to engineer something, let's make sure we're engineering something, in my opinion, let's make sure we're engineering something we can actually carry through on and not engineering a cloud in the sky. Just,
Actually, after what we just went through last Thursday night, we don't have the funding.
so, yeah. So I think we need to be very deliberate about if we're going to be committing ourselves down a path. I think we need to get all the stakeholders together and have a consensus about, is this something we want to move forward with? Are the stakeholders all invested in it? And do we have a pathway, if we can't get grant funding, to get it funded? Because I believe that this is a major problem. This park continues to be a major problem. It needs to have a realistic solution rather than just looking the other way and hoping it goes away. But at the same time, we need to make sure that it fits into a larger financial plan of how are we going to pay for it rather than building a castle in the sky. So that's just my opinion, but we're a deliberative body, so I'll
If I
open
can
it up.
add, Mr. Mayor, we need to, it's gonna have to be as soon as possible.
Okay.
Only because, they wanna go forward.
They want to go forward, and also they've increased salaries to their staff.
Sure.
This project was supposed to be completed over the winter. We're now looking at a next year finish, so they've already been hinting that they're gonna be looking for more fee, and I think they were pretty close. Their bid amount was pretty
So-
close to our allocation, so I'd be looking for a supplement probably.
But wasn't this kind of their issue, their issue, because they're doing a groundwater study in the
No, I wouldn't
fall as opposed to the heaviest
Time of
water
year.
flow time in the spring?
No, you can't make that claim because
No.
the funds became available July 1, which was when we advertised the project, and that's
Right.
when they started. They
So-
started in the fall. With the timeline that was established, was brought to this council when I requested the funding.
So would folks feel comfortable with trying to get back together next week or the week after? I know Memorial Day is coming up, but trying to maybe squeeze in a meeting before or right immediately after Memorial Day with the Board of Finance? Would folks feel comfortable with that if I made the request to Board of Finance for a joint meeting?
Be good?
Yeah.
Beginning of June.
I'm going to try to see if we can do it this month before the end of May. I mean, this is a pretty big decision, and I want to make sure all the stakeholders are at the table to have all the facts before we commit to a path.
Can I ask, in your professional engineering opinion, is there another way to go about this that's cheaper than $1.5 million?
Or 3.1.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, I'm just going with the lowest, I mean,
I don't believe so, because
Okay.
unfortunately we've done a number of test pits there, I
Yeah.
think 10 or 12. You have 3 feet of very confined soils.
Right.
We've done infiltration tests on those soils. There's areas where, rather than moving feet per day, it's moving fractions of inches per day. So a lot of the problems you have there is the water's not going into the ground. I think it's
Right.
mostly evaporating, personally. I think when it dries out and the breeze hits it, you're getting probably more evaporation in some areas than you are getting what's going into the ground. So, I mean, aeration is great, but you've got 3 feet of stuff, and we don't
Right.
have a 3-foot aerator,
there's,
right? We've got
no,
a
right,
few inches.
understandable. Is there any, I mean, is it feasible to do slits and,
I think that would temporarily work, but I don't think.
You don't think it's a
I don't
long-term,
no,
okay.
absolutely
Well,
not.
you're an engineer, that's why I asked.
The dirt's gonna be there. Oh, I'm not wearing my wedding ring, I was about to twist it. Like, where is it? I mean, I would like to table this to a joint meeting with Board of Finance so we can really dig into the numbers. Are other folks comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we gonna try to also have, one of these folks there as well, to talk
Weston?
about it?
Weston?
I'd love to have an idea of, I mean, I know we have Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C. When we were going through this, and they were doing their illustrations, and we talked about it, and I asked a few questions, and at that point, I have this sense that most of the people in the room would not vote for Plan C, because we knew what the economics were. So the question is, you know, I really want that, but if I took this, what else could we do to get a little closer to that? And could those folks give us some information, some insight that maybe would bump it out a little bit? I don't know. You've talked to them
Well,
regularly.
and the only other issue with Plan C is that you're gonna lose those entire fields for
years.
better than a year
Well, we're gonna lose it,
or
yeah,
more. You know what I mean?
regardless. Yeah, we're gonna lose it for a while.
Yes, but
because-
far less with the first option than the third option.
Yeah,
So each of the three plans is incrementally more work, incrementally more effective, and incrementally longer, and also incrementally more costly. So, you know,
I know.
there's several factors to consider.
Yeah.
I don't think that option one is gonna do much for you at all,
No.
because what they're talking about is just putting the sand on top, so the water flows through the sand, but the problem you have is those fields
it
are
still
dead
goes
flat.
below the sand and,
Well, it's dead flat, so it's really not
Yeah.
gonna run to the drains they wanna install. So you gotta do either 2 or 3 to get some pitch on the fields, to get that water to start to move towards the drains they wanna install.
No, yeah.
okay.
3.1 is a lot of bake sales, so. So, does anyone want to make a motion to table to a special meeting to consider jointly with the Board of Finance?
So moved.
Yeah.
Made by
second.
Jamin, second by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. I realize I skipped citizens' comments, so I apologize for that. I made a big deal about wanting to move them up so people could talk at the beginning of the meeting, and then I went ahead and steamrolled them. So, citizens, friends, countrymen, lend me your ears. Oh, go ahead, John.
Can I just ask a question? So this joint meeting, can I expect an answer coming out of that meeting?
I would-
I need to get back to the
Yes,
council.
I would think that the point and goal of the meeting is for us to make a definitive answer.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll make sure that Chill gets an invitation to that so they can send whoever they want, as they're one of the primary user groups of the fields, so they can have questions answered as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And so Amanda, if you could circulate dates with John Ireland from Board of Finance to see if he can get his team together in the next week or two. Thank you. Okay, so friends, Romans, countrymen, citizens of the municipality. If you have any public comments or citizens' comments, now are the time. 2 minutes, there'll be another opportunity later in the meeting, but 2 minutes per speaker. Please be respectful, and please state your home address for the purposes of stating your name for the record. Yes, I would say do it. I would say. No, you're a friend, Roman, and a countryman, so you're. His time hasn't started yet.
J. Polk, 15 Harrison Drive, also a longtime member of the Economic Development Commission. I'd like to talk about the tax abatement for 100 Berlin Road. A tax abatement transfer, in this case, has been proven to be an effective tool for communities seeking long-term revenue growth and economic development. In this case, supporting the request for the Red Lion, the hotel, and the banquet facility would also provide an immediate benefit to Cromwell through a significant cleanup and improvement of the property. Cromwell and many other towns have successfully used this approach to attract major businesses, encourage investment, and strengthen the local tax base. For these reasons, I would encourage a yes vote on this request. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Polk. Any other citizens' comments? Chris, come on up.
Good evening, Chris Cambray, 10 Sachem Drive. I'm in favor of the transfer of this tax abatement. We absolutely need to see a shovel in the ground as soon as we can. And the long-term benefits of this short-term adjustment in taxes will certainly pay out sooner than later. So please move forward with that tonight. Let's make this the last stop for our developer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Any other citizens' comments? There will be another opportunity if citizens have comments later. I'll just ask one more time. Any other citizens' comments at this time? Okay, hearing none, I'll close the first session of citizens' comments. And now we'll move on to our economic development update from our economic development coordinator.
Good evening, everybody. I passed a memo on, and everybody received a copy of it in your package. I just wanted to update everybody on the status of a number of restaurants. I know we're all still waiting for Popeyes, and they're all moving at their own pace. So,
I just have to say that is my sleep paralysis demon that haunts me. Every time somebody asks me, when is it going to open, I say, if you find out, please tell me.
well, you have to remember that they got their approval in 2021. So it's a slow process, okay? They move deliberately.
Do they own the one that's in East Hartford that just opened?
I know that the franchisee that we're working with owns the one in Weathersfield.
Okay.
I don't know if he owns the one in East Hartford.
It looks identical, and it
Yeah.
just opened
Yeah.
like last week. So
Well,
I'm
given the
hoping
fact-
that's,
Given the fact that the crews would disappear to work at various locations, it could very well be that he owns that one.
can't wait.
But we have a number of other restaurants that are coming in, so it's very good to see kind of this pickup in business. As I said in my memo, it adds a number of things. It adds cultural diversity, culinary diversity, regional draw, it is job creation, and it's commercial corridor activity attraction. And we're very happy to see that. Number of things are going on along 372 and other streets in town, so we're very happy to see that. And it's continuing. Our location is really the key to a lot of business attraction. Where we are located, we're so centrally located, we're close to the highway. We're talking with a number of businesses about property on Sabethy Drive. We're talking about other locations within town. We're hoping to have some announcements later this year. So it's very good. It's amazing. I don't think people appreciate how Cromwell has had steady growth over the last 14 years. It's never stagnated. It's been steady. There's been new businesses. We've been very fortunate. And part of that is, and I have to say, we have an excellent staff. Our engineering department, our building department makes it really easy for people to open businesses and to people to come here. You hear horror stories about other towns, people waiting months for an inspection. Our health department, our building department, they just work with people. We're very good at that. Cromwell's very good at that, and that's our reputation. And we have great staff. So I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Any questions for the town, I almost said town planner, the town economic development coordinator?
Thank you very much.
I do have one quick one for you,
Sure.
Stuart. Do you have opening dates on any of these
No, not
places?
yet.
Okay. And I saw,
We'll put a follow-up memo
Sure.
for the next council meeting as to when we have opening dates.
great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any more?
I just want to mention one thing while I'm up here. I might as well mention that. So, in case anybody sees it, the Marriott Hotel, the Marriott Spring Hill Suites, has been sold. Another company bought it. They paid $17 million for it.
Oh, wow.
So, it's been transferred. I met with the representatives of the new owners today, so they're very excited to be here in Cromwell.
Is it still a Marriott?
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not changing. Nothing's changing. The only thing that changed is the ownership.
Gotcha. 17 million.
17 million.
Quality Inn.
Pardon me?
Tony,
Oh, the Quality Inn is also, we'll mention that.
Oh, I thought he
we're
was making a
hoping-
joke
we're
about the
hoping
Marriott.
The Quality Inn, we've had discussions with them, and they have indicated that they are gonna be upgrading the hotel, and they're gonna become, hopefully this all works out, they're gonna become a Holiday Inn category hotel. So we're very excited to see that, so hopefully that all, I like to see building permits and see things happening before I tell people about them, but that's a very exciting news, so we hope that happens.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any other staff reports or commission chairman reports? Matt, do you want to go now, or do you want to go under town council liaison reports? Up to you. Dealer's choice.
I'm ready. I'll get earlier dinner this way.
Maybe we change our mind then. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
How you guys doing today? Matthew Zabrowski, Board of Education. I don't have a whole lot to report. We have not had a regular Board of Education meeting since the last time I was before you. You did ask a number of questions last time. I have answers to those questions, so I'll give you the questions and the answers that go along with them. So you had asked what the total number of window air conditioning units at Edna C. Stevens is. The total number that I was given is 51. You'd also asked how often are they replaced, and the response was as needed. Someone had mentioned that they had heard there might be cracks in the new sidewalks and possibly interior hallways at Cromwell Middle School, as well as an unsettled gymnasium floor and some other potential quality issues. You wanted to know if there's been any issues with those and how they're being addressed. There was one cracked tile in the interior hallway that was replaced on April 16th. They did find 2 cracks in the sidewalk. Newfield Construction has been made aware of that. I don't know where it has gone from that point yet. The gym floor was tested and inspected by Maple Flooring Manufacturer. They deem that the gym floor is fine. There are still some squeaks, but there is noticeably fewer.
Great.
I hope that helps. They also mentioned, Claudia also mentioned they've had some lock issues and sensor issues. Any issues within the building, they're addressing as they notify Newfield Construction as those things pop up. All right, any other questions about that? Perfect.
Thank you.
On the other items, the big item that we're dealing with, we've had a number of late night meetings in our search for a new superintendent. I can't say too much about that other than we were very pleased with the quality of candidates that were brought to us. But otherwise, we're hoping to narrow it down and be near the end of the process by the end of this month. So it's moving along, and I can tell you that every board member has been actively involved, engaged, and all in on finding the next leader for the district. In addition, I reported to you that the middle school principal, Ann Cochiola, had announced her retirement. That process will be starting soon. The opening was posted. My understanding is applications have been received, and that's where it is now. I believe we'll be talking a little bit about that at our meeting this coming Tuesday. And I know there has been, a little bit of discussion about should we hold off until we have a new superintendent identified so that they can participate in choosing building leaders. The other thing is, and I don't remember if this came up last time or not, I don't remember if we were notified before the last time I spoke to you or not, but our finance director announced his retirement as well. So we're doing a lot of looking around. I see some looks. It's not uncommon when you have a major leadership change like a retiring superintendent to have other leaders either retire or choose to move on. It happens in many districts when you lose a superintendent or even an assistant superintendent. So it's not uncommon, but we're going through some leadership changes, and I think I like to think that we'll manage them very well, better than most.
Great.
Okay, any other questions for me right now?
From my right?
No.
From my left?
No.
Okay,
Awesome.
I have a couple, I'm sorry.
Go for it. I don't know what I can answer. We haven't had a regular meeting.
I'm
but-
assuming we're gonna table the surplus policy again. Did the facilities committee or Board of Ed make any edits to it, or do you need more time?
We have not made any edits or even discussion about it. I know that I reached out actually earlier today just to say do we know of any other towns who are using a policy like this? What's their experience been? because the only information that I personally have seen is the proposed language, and that's it. So I have no data or any other information
Yeah.
to back it up on. So I like to see those things.
Do you think the board can give us feedback by our next meeting, so we can have, if we're gonna approve something, we can have it approved for the start of the new fiscal year?
I can certainly request it be added to Tuesday's agenda if it's not already there.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And then, the one other question that I had for you is gone. There was another question.
This is my real hair.
Yes, yes.
Very nice.
Very nice. It's gone, but thank you. That's the most important question. that I'm
It's
hearing.
not very nice, but I do appreciate it, but I'm due for a haircut tomorrow. I'm actually overdue by 2 weeks.
It looks great. 10 out of 10. Thank you for your
You guys
time,
have
Matt.
a wonderful evening. Do you think you'll leave me later? Are you okay if I go have dinner?
Yeah, I think we should be A-okay. I'm gonna table that other item.
If anything comes up, you have my cell phone. Please feel free to call. I would rush back, but I'm not going to.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on to the next item. Item E, approval of the town manager's appointment of the Human Resources Director. Tony has a packet that was not included in your mailed packet, or your picked-up packet for us to review. Oh, Jamin has the packet for us.
No, I got it from
Somebody.
somebody.
Yeah, you just, no, sorry.
Yeah.
If I may,
Thanks, Jamin.
I'll give you a little time to take a look at the resume of my appointee and an overview. We conducted interviews. There was a 3-panel with me observing, which included the Southington HR Director, the Assistant Town Manager, who also does HR for Weathersfield, and our own generalist. And as a result of the candidates' interview, the panel engaged in a structured scoring process using established evaluation criteria, and based on that, Ginger Frascus, I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. At anyways, came out number 1, and as a result, I chose her as my appointee, subject to council approval. She has a lot of experience in public sector HR, was very knowledgeable that I observed, and I left the room, and they then graded and scored each individual. And as I said, the appointee came out number 1.
How many people input?
4.
That's how many were interviewed, right? Of the, I'm assuming
Four were in.
there were more applicants than that, I'm assuming, right? You had a larger pool of applicants,
We
you
had a
narrowed it to
larger
4.
pool. It was culled down by the generalist, who put the 4 individuals together.
Well, let's, unless there are any questions for the town manager on process, we can have Ms. Frasca, yeah, good, introduce herself if she likes.
Not crazy about a microphone, but anyway, my name is Ginger Frasca. Good afternoon, and I'm hoping to be approved as your new town HR director. I currently work for Generations Family Health Center as their HR director, and prior to that, I worked with the Office of the State Comptroller with Kevin Lembo and Martha Carlson and Michelle Gilman, and I was there for about 6 years as their HR director. I've also worked at the Department of Correction for many years and at CVH Hospital for Demas. I've been in HR about 35 years. Seems a little bit surreal at times, but, you know, went by like that, and then other times I think it took a long time to get here. But thank you for letting me introduce myself.
Great. Are there any questions for Ms. Frasca?
I guess, if I may,
Go ahead, Mr.
what are you most looking forward to doing here in Cromwell?
I currently live in Stores, but I really enjoy working in public service. Generations is a nonprofit health center, federally qualified health center, so it's kind of what my passion has been with, to work with people who are underserved and represent. I really enjoyed working at the state of Connecticut. Just left so that I could get some more experience as an HR director in different avenues. And what I think is all of my knowledge that I've gathered brings me to where I am today. And so I really look forward to having the opportunity to kind of get back into that public sector knowledge and experience that I was very comfortable with and really enjoyed supporting.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions from my right? To my left? Good.
I'm just curious as to what kind of experience do you have working with unions, et cetera, and also, I guess, two questions. What kind of experience do you have with writing policy and implementation of policy?
To your first question, I have extensive knowledge working with the unions. When I was at the state, I supported 13 different unions. Currently, I support 2 union contracts, 1199, but I've worked with Ask Me, I've worked with A&R, I've worked with many different unions, municipal, I think that they cover the municipality as well as private sector and public sector. In terms of policy and procedure, I've written many policies and procedures, and one of the things that I really like about that process is having the opportunity to work with my colleagues on what they're experiencing in their particular area and be able to use my expertise and my experience with that to put together a policy or a procedure that is going to serve well the person who needs it, the person who's asking for it, director, manager, whatever the title is, and use my experience to be able to put together a good procedure that will stand the test of time and support what the intention is.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
So I just put 2 and 2 together.
Oh.
We worked very briefly together on a case once.
Oh, no.
No, that's not bad. I don't think I think you were a CC or a copy
okay.
on something, but I was like, I'm by my day job, when I'm not mayor, I'm a lawyer for AFT Connecticut, and I just noticed that you have Yukon Health on there, and
Yes.
that's one of our AFT units, so that was
Yes.
Bill Garrity and all the rest of them, right?
Garrity,
Yeah.
and Lakeisha Brown
Yes.
is our HR director for, I guess, stores and Farmington. But
Yes. Okay, funny, it's a
Interesting.
small world.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, absent any other questions, I'll accept a motion to accept the town manager's recommendation.
Motion approved.
Second.
Made by Al, seconded by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Welcome to the town of Cromwell.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Okay, I will now move on to my mayor's update. So a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. First of all, the town's cultural district did do its tour with the State Department of Economic and Community Development, and we are waiting a final announcement on approval, but we are pretty sure approval will be pending. So the tour went really well. It was about 3 hours long. The town manager was there, Stuart Popper was there, other town staff were there. I think there were 8 or 9 people from the state there. They did a tour. They said it was one of the best tours that they've ever had of any of the 13 cultural districts that they've approved. They said that we had a professional presentation. Richard Donahue from the Historical Society did a presentation. We had a reception at Tony's Flower Shop. And again, at the reception, they said that this was one of the best tours that they ever did, and that they're really exciting to discovering Cromwell and supporting Cromwell and being cheerleaders for our Main Street. So I think it's bright suns ahead, and I think it'll be a really good economic development tool once it gets off the ground. One of the things I'd encourage is that they desperately need more volunteers on that commission to help kind of build it out and help start beginning programming. If we get the final approval, we have to have a marketing plan into the state by the end of this year. So we need to develop a marketing plan. We need to develop that and get approval for the state so it can go on the state website. So there's a lot of moving parts. So if there's anyone out there that is marketing oriented and want to pull up their sleeves and do some work, the commission's looking for volunteers. Some other exciting news, and I will leave some of this to Jamin to talk about, but I think we have a lot of development both with our pollinator gardens and with our rose garden. I'll talk briefly about the rose garden. As you all know, or should know, or maybe don't know, but the AARP gave a grant to redo the rose garden. We've been building on that, and with the money from the marijuana cannabis fund, we're able to improve the drainage surrounding the rose garden. As you all know, or maybe should know, or maybe have seen, that area of the field floods really badly frequently. So there's some drainage that is going to be put in there, and that has 100% is being paid out of the cannabis fund. So there's no cost to the taxpayers for that. That's all being paid, well, unless they purchase cannabis, then I suppose they paid the tax on that. But, so I'm pleased to see that. We're hoping to have, we're shooting for Memorial Day to have the roses planted there. I think it's a really beautiful project, and it's coming together really nicely. And then most importantly, Board of Finance met last week. I attended the meeting with the town manager. We had a couple pre-meetings beforehand with the Board of Finance chair about setting of the mill rate. Earlier in the month, we did receive about $560,000 of additional funds from the state of Connecticut as part of the budget that got passed during the session. So we're very pleased with that additional funding. However, due to the Covenant Living credit that was from the settlement that they had of $750,000, the grand list stayed essentially flat, and health insurance that we all know about went up. So ultimately, the mill rate went up, I believe, 1.95, which represents a little shy of 7% of an increase. So obviously, that is a big hit. Unfortunately, the turnout at the referendum was less than 300. So either that means we're doing something right and people are really confident in what we're doing, or I thought we did a really good job boosting publicity. We had it on all the billboards. We had it in the Rare Reminder. There was an article on it. It was all over Facebook, social media. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe we should get signs in the future that say vote first Tuesday in May and use it every single year and pop them out a little earlier. But I'm open to any suggestions people have to try to boost turnout, because it was probably one of our lowest turnout years.
Our main intersections also had signs on them.
Yeah, so I don't know how to crack that egg, but I'm open to any suggestions or feedback. But
One thing I noticed is also fairly nice out. And
Yes.
people probably are just enjoying the weather. It's been a
It was
long,
a nice
crappy
day.
winter. I'm not trying to make excuses, but that's one thing that crossed my mind.
I mean, you can look at it this way, it was probably roughly around 800% better than fire district's turnout.
Yes, we can look at it that way. We can look at it. It was 800% better than the fire district. You're very true. Very, very true.
And the other thing is sometimes those signs, I mean, I think you've remarked about this a long time ago, they're kind of vague. We should have maybe something a little more specific about what is for vote? Vote today on what? You
Yeah.
know? So, I don't know.
Maybe
Those are-
we can make up generic signs.
They did say budget referendum.
Yeah. Do we know how many people actually get the Everbridge notification? Do we have data on that?
It's not a lot, you have to sign up for it.
Okay, we'll push that again. But okay, that is the majority of my I am waiting on confirmation on this, but we believe that in the state budget, there will be some other capital expenses that will be approved. I'm waiting for a letter from the state outlining them. But I've spoken with our state senator and state representative, and I anticipate that there'll be a number of projects that will be announced shortly. I'm waiting for them to be put in writing, so I have it in hand. But as soon as I have that, there will be additional projects in addition to the $560,000 that we got, in the tune of several $100,000 more from the state. So I'm waiting for those projects to get in ink, and then I will pass that along as soon as I have those pieces of information. Any questions on anything for me? Okay, thank you, guys. Tony?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pretty much everything is in my memo, with the exception of, we do have a number of vacancies in upper management that we're working on filling. With the departure of Scott, we're now working on locating and replacing a rec director. We have an assistant director of finance vacancy. We just filled the HR director's position. We will have the assessor position also to fill. Finance, at its meeting, did approve, the funding for the town manager search.
At the Board of Finance meeting, they also discussed asking us to revisit our fund balance policy. We have a fund balance policy that says 15 to 17% will be the goal, and then after that, it says this should be around 60 days operating expenses. That would be the 17%, so they asked us to revisit that to make it clear that the 15 is the goal, not the 60 days is the goal. One of the things they did was they used the 15% number for setting the mill rate, not the 60-day number, so 15% is 55 days, so they wanted to kind of bring that into congruence with each other, either make it clearer that the percentage is the goal, not the number of days, or if we want it the other way around, then it's the number of days, not the percentage, but then that would be 17% if it was the number of days. And the policy says strives for, so it kind of gives a little bit of flexibility to them.
So currently it is 15%?
The Board of Finance set it at 15%.
15%, which is 60 days of,
Which is 55 days.
okay.
And so the point that they were making was our policy says it shall be between 15 and 17%, but then goes on to say we should have a goal of 60 days, which would be 17%. So then it kind of negates the rest of the policy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the percentage will change every year with the amount. So it will supersede the 60 days or 55 days of operating expenditures.
Correct.
If it hasn't already, it probably absolutely has.
Correct, and I think that's why they want us to revisit it.
Okay.
You're 100% right. That's exactly what I think happened. I'm sure when they said it, 15% was 60 days, and now 15% is,
Probably well beyond
yeah, not.
that. Right. Okay.
So we'll put that on a future agenda if everyone,
Actually, it works out.
Operating expense goes up as much as the revenue?
16%, 15% was 55 days.
55 days.
Yeah,
it
but
works.
the policy says we try for 60 days.
I understand,
Yeah.
but I'm saying cash-wise, because everything.
Correct, cash.
Increases.
Correct, correct.
Our operation expense increases and our reserves increase.
Correct.
Right, but not at the same rate.
Well, if the operation increases, then the reserves would reflect the 15% of our operations. And she would add to it.
15% of a year is 50, or whatever, 55 days.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so they're saying that doesn't match the next sentence, which is 60 days. So they want it, they would rather, their request was to amend the policy to be 55 days to match the 15%, because the difference between 15% and 17% was a significant amount of money, and that doesn't give them as much flexibility. Okay, sorry, Mr. Town Manager, sorry to interrupt you. With regards to the manager search, I know you and I had talked about this, but so that can be, does that have to go out to bid, or can we just go over the different options, we can select somebody?
You can do an RFQ.
Okay. Or we can do a bid waiver, it's either or?
I don't believe so, only because of the charter, but I can check.
No worries. Any other questions for the town manager? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to town council liaison reports. I'll start with my right, Mr. DeProto. Some
Greetings.
bees a buzzing, I hear.
Yeah, we've been working on this project a long time ago at your direction. Pollinate Pathway, for those who don't know, it's just, the intent is a sort of low maintenance project to give bees and other kinds of pollinating insects an area where they can feed, because most of these insects don't travel very far without having a place to stop and refuel. And also it can beautify, so we were thinking something maybe with wildflower, something that's low maintenance. We put a person from the Conservation Commission on point on this project, and she's done a great job trying to get experts in to advise us on how to best go about this and some of the best practices. And the new town planner has been really great in trying to figure out the best place to put these things. We want it to be something that people can see, but not so close that it's in the way. So we're gonna be going over that tomorrow at our next meeting, trying to determine where it should go, how we'll fund it, what will go in it, the timeline and all that kind of stuff. So it's really starting to pick up pace. This is something we've been working on for quite some time. You'd think it'd be something simple, but we wanna do it right the first time. So I really appreciate everyone who's lent a hand on this project, and I certainly don't deserve any of the credit. It's all the people, members of the commission, town staff, and everything. So, making good headway there. You have a question?
No, yeah, I had a question.
Yeah, please fire away.
I heard that the cannabis fund may also be used for the pollinator pathway. Is that correct or not? Sure.
Well, it depends on where the location is.
Okay.
In relationship to the street, because it has to, fit the definition of a streetscape.
Gotcha.
So,
Could we fit it somewhere?
so it can't be buried somewhere in the middle or the back, let's say, of the community garden.
Is there a foot definition? You know, it has to be within 20 feet of,
No,
or something? No, okay.
I believe the terminology is streetscape,
Okay.
So it has to be able to be viewed probably from the street.
viewed from the street.
And then my second question was, maybe I'm stealing your thunder, any update from Sustainable CT?
Not,
The answer to that. So we have been awarded, I just want to make a point. The town staff has worked very hard on that. Specifically, Jennifer Tranquillo has worked diligently over the last year to get that certification. And if it wasn't for Jennifer, we wouldn't have that certification. We will be awarded that certification. We've been advised of that. And there will be a ceremony on June 10th at the Hillstead Museum, sponsored by Sustainable Connecticut, where they will be giving out the awards.
Will Jennifer be able to attend that?
Yes,
Perfect, okay.
and we've invited all the Conservation Commission members to attend that.
What was the date again, I'm sorry?
Pardon me?
June 10th.
June 10th. And I'll confirm that, we'll have an email sent out to all the council members.
No, I think we have what time of day is that at, do you know?
At evening.
Oh, I think we have a town council meeting. Sorry, folks, I think you'll be here with me.
Thursday,
Oh, is it Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the 11th.
Yeah.
We don't have a town council meeting on the 11th.
We'll send out an email inviting everybody.
Okay, we won't be stuck in this room together. Okay, thank you, Mr. DeProto, go ahead and continue.
I was gonna say, yeah, so anyway, I think Stuart did a great job covering everything. I think, my plan is to, of course, continue, doing this work. I think it'll help beautify the town. It helps keep things healthy, makes the town, it's a low-cost way of, I think, of beautifying things and having policies that keep just things healthier. So I've been really pleased to serve as the, chair of that commission. I don't know if there's anything anyone here would like to see done. I'd be all ears. But I think between town staff and the members of the commission, we've really started to pick up a lot of steam. So it's great.
Great, thank you.
I guess maybe next year, silver, right?
Yeah, silver, there we go. We'll put, poor Jennifer will be like, be real exhausted. Ms. Hulick,
No questions.
Okay. Anything from you, Jack?
No questions?
Anything to report for either of you from any of the meetings you went to?
No, part of my group was disbanded, recreation committee and other things.
Yep.
So, no,
Yep.
nothing there.
I did attend the ceremony at Tony's for the cultural district. It was lovely, and kudos to everyone that worked on that. I'm very excited about that whole process. The CMS building committee was rescheduled to a date where I wasn't able to attend, so I was not at that this month.
Thank you. Mr. Waters, anything from the Senior Commission or Historical Society?
Senior Commission, first off, the EDC, correct? Thank you, sir. Correct me, Mr. Popper, we had, our last EDC was canceled, correct?
Right, because we were
No,
here
no,
for
no.
the award,
Yep.
and, so the last time we had a formal meeting was, actually in March.
That's with Alpine.
Pardon me?
Yes,
Yes.
was
And
it
that,
without
at that meeting, and I was gonna mention this when we get to it, but at that meeting, the Economic Development Commission endorsed the transfer of the tax abatement.
Right. I just want to make sure before, I have to say it was canceled the last
It
meeting,
was,
because it was.
because we were here we were here the night before, we were here that night, the week before for the awards.
Yes,
Yep, so that's why we canceled the meeting.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
EDC meet was canceled, but prior to that, we had a good presentation from Alpine. They were the ones that purchased the Lexington Partnership, 100 Berlin Road. Very, very good presentation, and the EDC commission members, they supported it, 100%. That's why it's gonna be in front of us tonight. The Senior Advisory Commission, our health director, she gave a very, very good report as far as what's going on. And she has quite a lot of concern, or quite a bit of concern for the seniors, and that went very well with her, actually perfect. And that's about it. The Historical Society, they had their May Day, but I'm sorry too, I wasn't able to attend that.
I bought all my Mother's Day gifts at the May Day celebration. It was very nicely done.
Thank you.
Mr. Brunel?
The Public Asset Facility Committee did not meet last month, but we did complete all of the tours of the buildings, and there will be assessments forthcoming.
Thank you.
Fire Commission, they are expecting delivery of a refurbished ambulance. They took a new chassis and put the box of the ambulance onto a new chassis, so they refurbished it, saved themselves quite a bit of money. There was a 10 million gallon water loss due to somebody turning the water back on at the street level to the red line. There was flooding involved. There was about roughly estimated, I guess they said somewhere around 10 million gallons, which sounds like a lot, but the town itself uses, I mean, in its low points, 1 million gallons a day. So, a loss is a loss, though. They're looking into it. If they figure out who did it, they're assuming that it was most likely a speculative contractor or something that wanted to see if there was water to the building or how it was. You need pretty intimate knowledge of how to turn the water back on from the street level. It's under the road. You have to remove a cap. You have to have a special long wrench to get down there and actually turn it on, so it wasn't something that you can just do on a whim.
Oh, wow.
So they're looking into that. They said if they do figure out who did it or if there is some proof as to, there will be billing involved.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you kindly. Ms. Luna?
Okay, I too attended a Cultural District Commission meeting to finalize the plans for the tour, and I was on the tour and at Tony's, and everything went very well. On April 21, I attended the Youth Advisory Board meeting, and they discussed their upcoming spring and summer events. And I served tea at the Historical Society May Day celebration.
Thank you, Ms. Luna. Alrighty, we will move on now to unless anyone has any questions for any of the other counselors on any of those items. Hearing none, we'll move on to the Finance Director's update, starting with her budget report.
Good evening, everyone. I apologize for the voice. In your packet are budget reports through the end of April. And at this point in the fiscal year, I am monitoring all budgets very closely, and I have been constantly working with the department heads on, going into the final 2 months of year end to make sure we're on target for expenditures. As the mayor stated, the Board of Finance set the mill rate at the 29.28 mils, or 1.95 mil increase. It was a very tough season for us with this budget year. We had a few meetings before, and then the Board of Finance meeting. We did a lot of thinking about where we were going and what we had, and It was a very well thought-out process this year, and I don't know if the town manager has anything to add. Does anyone have any questions for me?
What did they set the mill rate at?
29?
29.28.
Yeah, 29.28.
Yeah, I don't mean to steal your thunder, some of the hardships that we had this year, our insurance increases, the expenditure, we have $800,000 worth of new debt from the middle school that came on board, and we had the $750,000 loss from the settlement, or the credits related to the settlement. So in some, that's a lot of new expenditures that are coming on board without growth of the mill, without growth of the grand list. It makes it difficult to offset that. Yeah, we did get some state relief this year, which I'm very pleased about, but obviously, it's going to continue to be a difficult process. The Board of Ed is the largest portion of the budget, and I think they decided, and I personally think rightfully so, that they didn't want to terminate or lay off teachers or lay off educators, and so they kept all their staffing. I think they eliminated one position through attrition, but they kept all their other staffing at where it is. But I think we have a tough year ahead of us, individually, as our board, to make sure that if we have emergency costs and projects, that we're really sharpening our pencils for if we spend money mid-year. I got that lecture loud and clear from the Board of Finance about, if something's an emergency, and then it's emergency. If something's you go to Cold Stone Ice Cream, you gotta have it, is something I gotta have it or I kinda like it. The kinda like it, Board of Finance is kinda saying, we really shouldn't be trying to spend the gotta like it's throughout the year. It really should be for things that are priorities. Otherwise, we should try to keep it within the the normal budget process. And I think they're right. They have a good point. So they left $250,000 in the capital fund for those emergency kind of projects, but I think that's less than they've left in years past. So we know that if there are mid-year expenses, we have a smaller window of which to utilize funds for. So just something for us to be cognizant of. Anything else? Any questions for the finance director?
I've got one.
Go ahead.
This is off of budget, but with regards to the new middle school, invoicing, I have caught wind of invoicing issues and payment to the contractors. Can you shed some light on any of this? I know we were behind or at some point, and there was 27 invoices.
I can't pay the bills until I get the invoices. And they go to the building committee, and then the project manager puts together a package and sends it to me. And I did this for the town manager, and I have documentation. I have emails where I was getting invoices 2 months after they were approved. And like I said, I can't pay it if I don't have an invoice. And then once I get it, I have to review it and give it to the town manager to sign. And I have stated we pay bills on Wednesday, and the checks go out on Friday. And that's been our process. So if they want something paid, I need it before a Wednesday. I know, and the contractors that weren't getting paid were not town contractors. They were the construction manager contractors. They were not the towns.
So if I could, I asked the finance director to prepare an outline for me on this, and I'm happy to circulate this, but the December invoices were received by the town from the building committee and their Arcadis, is that the group?
Yeah, project manager.
From their project manager. The December invoices were received by the town on 3/3/26 and paid on 3/11. So they were dated in December, but we didn't receive them until March. The October invoices were received on January 9th and paid on January 14th. The November invoices were received on December 29th and paid on January 7th. September invoices were received on November 17th and paid on the 25th. So there seems to be somewhere between a month and a 2-month delay between the invoices being written and then us getting them.
We are current now?
Yes.
Does that include Hayland or whatever that?
Those, I have not received those invoices. The invoices don't come directly to me. I get them from the project manager. I don't know, and Mayor, I could follow up with them if they are having, like, if it's an issue where they don't agree with the invoice and maybe they didn't receive what they're saying.
Yeah. What was explained to me is they do like a quasi-internal audit before they pass the invoices on to make sure they actually are getting billed for the work completed.
Correct.
But, if that takes a month or 2 months, the general contractor is responsible for paying the subcontractors, right?
That's correct. And if I might add, we listened to the building committee, where they blamed the town of Cromwell for all their problems, and be nice if they send over an apology.
You can ask.
You can ask. If we could just follow up on the Hayland
No, I just wait,
invoices.
because I do sign the bills.
Yeah, I mean, based off of the report that I got, it seems like we pay our bills within a week of receiving the invoices pretty regularly. So, if the general contractor has a long delay, general contractor probably needs to review their process to see if there's another way they can audit, and get their subcontractors paid, because that's, But no, I heard the same rumor, Brian.
And then my other question is, do we know where we're at with state reimbursement?
Yep.
A year ago.
Yeah, we have not received, and I have received only 11,267,680. I am due.
Do we have a rough estimate of what they are going to reimburse us?
I should be getting 6 million in the next 2 weeks. The problem was the state changed their process on how they handled this
Of course they did.
reimbursement. And, so the project manager could no longer reach out to the state to get my reimbursement. It had to be the superintendent. And she has been doing everything she's needed to. I mean, right now, they owe me about $12 million. And then once we get through these payments, we don't get any more payments until we do the final state audit, because they can only give you so much reimbursement, and they withhold a certain portion.
What is the portion?
I think it's 15, I'm gonna have to get back to you, I don't wanna say anything off record, but they withhold a certain portion until the final audit.
Of the entire number? So
Of
let's
the-
say
Of the
it's
reimbursement number, which was,
40-something thousand, I'm
40.
guessing? I don't know
Million.
exactly.
Can I just piggyback on that? Do we have enough in our balance right now to pay all the expenditures that we are
I have
expecting?
been paying the bills,
Okay, we have enough to pay the bills.
yes.
Okay. What have we been doing to create a paper trail, other than the superintendent's emails, to ensure that the delay is being followed up on? Like,
I
are
sent
we,
another email this afternoon out again. I'm following up on my state reimbursement. Can you give me an update on where this money is?
is that out of the comptroller's office, or?
No, I am not allowed to contact the comptroller's office. Only the superintendent is.
He's asking.
Which
It
office?
is, yes.
Because, I mean, if we're seeing really big delays, I mean,
We're not the only town.
I know, but we have a state representative and a state senator, and if we're having these delays, I'd like to loop them in so they can, through their legislative liaison roles, go up there and shake some cages, because that's their job.
My biggest concern is if we're not getting fully reimbursed until there's a state audit done, what are we looking at timeline-wise? How many, are we talking
I-
years?
I don't, it
And
all
at a
depends on the
percentage of,
state.
even if it was, 10% or whatever, you're looking at $4 million. Does that built into our, when we go out for bonding, do we take into account the
Yes,
fact
it
that
was
we may
taken-
not see any money for, a
The
large
cash
sum
flow
of
was
money for?
taken into account when we went out to bond.
So we're not gonna run out of money to pay our obligations anytime soon. Okay.
Even though that was the claim.
Okay. Thank you, Brian, for bringing up those points. Those are really important.
And like I said, on a weekly basis, I'm following up on this reimbursement because I've been after the project manager since November for answers on my money.
Yeah, what I would recommend is if you don't get payment or an update by next week, please reach out to Representative Carpino and State Senator Matt Lesser so they can, start making calls on their end. I think a delay of a year is unacceptable from the state. That is absolutely unacceptable. especially when we made financial assumptions based off of the reimbursement rate being consistent.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Sharon?
If I may, I mean, after all that, this seems like small peanuts, but since my time on Board of Finance, we've had this Board of Education fund balance, and I know that's from before, I don't know if you can see it from where you're at. It's currently it's in the same page as all of our
Oh,
other.
the CNR fund balance.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was from before.
That's when they had it was before they changed the state law.
Right.
And that was where their surplus went.
So-
And they were supposed to use that on capital projects?
Yeah, so I was just wondering, I mean, that was when we ended up with their surplus, and now they keep the surplus.
Correct.
So why don't we just hand that balance over to the Board of Ed instead of just having this?
They can
Right.
apply it towards one of their capital projects.
Okay, I just was wondering, because it's been sitting there a long
Yeah,
time.
it's in a CNR account, so they have to use it for capital.
Okay. We should
I
try
could
to-
bring that up with the finance director there. If they have a project and they want to supplement it with that money, I can,
Yeah, because it's been sitting there as long as I can remember, so it'd be, might as well use it instead of having it just sit there. My thought, at least. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to discussion and possible action regarding capital fund project fund reallocation policy per the questions we had for the Board of Ed. They have not submitted comments yet, so I'll take a motion to table this. Motion to table? Al? Okay, yeah, motion to table made by Al. Second by Jack. Any further discussions on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of tabling indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Next, the discussion and possible action regarding proposed tax abatement for 100 Berlin Road. Do they need time to set up? Should we take a recess for them to set up, or are they good
All
to go?
set? They're
Okay.
all set.
Ready to go.
I
Thank you.
just want to just mention one thing really quickly. So, in our tax abatement agreements, it allows for the transfer of a tax abatement. We've seen that, for example, with the Amazon property. When Scannell sold the Amazon property to a real estate investment trust out of Boston, they were in front of the town council, and we approved the transfer of the tax abatement. So what we have this evening is we're asking you to vote on the transfer of the tax abatement from the former Lexington Partner Group to Alpine Residential. Just want to point out that they have received all their permits from the town of Cromwell. The only permit that's pending that will in any way stop them proceeding immediately is the issuance of their DOT permit, which they expect very soon. So they're here this evening. Their representative, Attorney Megan Hope, is here this evening to make the presentation, and I'll be here also if you have any questions. Thank you very much.
Good evening. For the record, my name's Megan Hope, and I'm an attorney with Alter, Pearson, and Hope in Glastonbury. I represent Alpine Residential LLC. They're the contract purchaser for 100 Berlin Road and also 15 R Christian Hill Road. Those are two contiguous properties that everyone's familiar with that currently contain the former Red Lion Hotel. As Stuart mentioned, we're here tonight to transfer the agreement which was originally approved by the town council at your meeting on October 17th, 2023. Following that meeting, about 10 days later, the agreement was signed. Paragraph 8 of that agreement allowed for the agreement to be transferred. It obviously needs the consent of the town council for that transfer, which is why we're here tonight. Alpine Residential, who is the contract purchaser for the site, is a very experienced owner and operator of apartments. They have apartments in several different states. They're the largest apartment owner in the state of Connecticut, so very experienced operator. Lexington was very deliberate in who they selected for this project. Obviously, Marty Kenny had worked on this project for years and years, and after he passed, the project didn't move forward with their firm, but Alpine became interested when it was circulated for sale and picked it up, obviously reviewed it with their own lens, but are ready now to move forward with it. We did, as Stuart mentioned, go and get all the required municipal approvals. So we went back to the Planning and Zoning Commission, the Wetlands Commission, Sewer Commission. We did go to EDC as well. We've received approvals or positive recommendations from all of the town's municipal boards. We're proposing, obviously, still a mixed-use project. We have 10,000 square feet of commercial space. That's going to be along Berlin Road, so activating that from a commercial standpoint. And then we have 267 apartments within 2 buildings behind that, together with almost a 10,000 square foot amenity building. And we have walking trails within the Christian Hill parcel. So very excited about that. We've had a lot of encouragement from the EDC. They feel very strongly that this is a very high-end product, and it's really going to help invigorate that section of town. We're already sort of seeing that ripple effect and some of the changes contemplated with the hotel across the street. So they felt very encouraged that having this project move forward will help revitalize the whole area. We did the amendment that or the transferring of this agreement has been reviewed by the town attorney, Carrie Olson. She's reviewed it. Fun fact, she took the bar at the Red Lion Hotel when she first was admitted, so sort of a full circle moment for her working on this project. But she did review the latest agreement and sent an email to the town manager saying she was okay for it to be go before the council for a vote. So that's been reviewed. We did have a meeting with the tax assessor, the deputy tax assessor, and the finance director as well, specifically focusing on the schedule to understand exactly how the abatement and the tax payments would be made. So that's all been updated as well. We did include the new mill rate, which just got approved. But our intent really has been from the beginning to really maintain the structure that was agreed to previously with Lexington. We're not trying to renegotiate, we're really trying to maintain that same agreement. A couple things that were tweaked really had to do with the dates, because obviously multiple years have passed since it was signed. So within that agreement, we have a date of September 1st is when we're required to pull that initial building permit. The first building permit that we're going to pull obviously is going to be the demolition permit to take down the hotel and the parking garages as well. And while that date is September 1st, we do think it's probably going to be earlier than that. Right now, our schedule is to work on the utility disconnects, which we haven't started yet, but we'd work on those and then close on the property in July and then immediately start demolition. So while we have that September 1st date in the contract, we feel like that's conservative. As Stuart mentioned, we still are working through the OSTA process. But following the closing, we think that we'll be at a position with OSTA where we can really start the site work following demolition. So probably early fall, we'd be able to start working on the site work. There's obviously a bunch of grading that has to be done on the site. There's a huge change in elevation from the Berlin Road side of the property to the Christian Hill, so there's a lot of grading that has to be done. But our plan right now is to be able to get COs in September of 2028. But we're really ready to move forward at this point, and get moving on the project obviously subject to the town council transferring the agreement to our client. So that's sort of a general overview of the project. I'm happy to answer any questions that the council has.
Sure. And before we get to questions, could you just go over the 2023 was the prior council, so I think only half of us were here.
Sure.
Could you go over that fee schedule?
Sure.
And just explain, what is the current taxable value? How does that work?
Sure.
If I recall correctly, once the COs are issued, then the timeline, different triggers occur, so.
Yes,
Yep.
so there's an assessed value that's being held during the construction period. And then once we get the COs, then we start getting into the abatement schedule, which is part of the tax abatement agreement. For years 1 and 2, we're maintaining that value of the land, which is what we're paying during construction. So we'd be paying 100% of the taxes on the land during the first 2 years. And then for years 3 through 10, our assessed value of the land and improvement goes up to $26,170,000, and then we have a stepped percentage. So for year 3, it's 10%. Year 4 is 20%, and so on. To give you some numbers, for example, In year 4 of the agreement, that's when we're paying 20%. We'll be paying $172,407.96. And then by the time we get up to year 9, for example, when we're at the 70%, we're at $603,000, $427.86. So it keeps stepping up for those 10 years, and then after that, it's would be taxed at the full amount. You're welcome.
I'll open up to any questions. Let me, I'll start with the Deputy Mayor, Mr. Waters.
This would be for Mr. Popper, you
Sure.
don't have to. How much longer does Amazon have before their tax abatement comes?
Yeah, they're in their last year, the Marriott Hotel is in their last year. Those were the Landon still has a couple of years to go.
But the Amazon building,
Right.
that was about the first.
That was the
one-
first one. We did that one in 2017. You were on the council.
Right, right.
Yeah, we did that one in
And,
2017.
I don't know if you were can you possibly tell us with the Amazon, once their tax abatement is gone,
Have any idea?
what the taxes will be, just as to help
Sure.
my colleagues understand what's gonna be happening once.
I have no idea. I would look to Shauna if she has any idea.
The attorney gave,
No, you're asking about Amazon, right?
yeah, I mean, she told you what we're gonna be at 100 Berlin Road.
I think I think he's asking just to understand what's
Amazon.
coming on board next
Right.
year to offset,
Right.
this longer term abatement.
The Amazon abatement is about $26 million. The Marriott Hotel still has a couple of years. Next year, they go up another level and they'll be paying another 1.5 million assessment.
And Amazon,
Amazon is about 26 million.
20
That's getting on will be on the grand list for 2026.
so it's definitely a shot in the arm to have all these people on board with us for taxes.
It will be very helpful to have that, right? And then we're going through
Exactly.
revaluation, and then who knows what happens after that.
And I appreciate when the young lady gave a good presentation to the town, the EDC that night. It was a very good presentation, and I'm in favor of giving that to them for the good of the Cromwell too, and the people. So
Thank you. Brian, any questions? Ms. Luna? Mr. DeProto? Ms. Hulick? Go ahead, Mr. DeProto.
In general, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In general, how many, I have not, this is the first time I've been on the town council when this has come up. Do you know how many, of what types of units will there be? I mean, you said there was like 270-ish.
Sure.
but Are there like three-bedroom,
Got a
two-bedroom?
chart right here, yep. So there's 267 units. The unit mix, 29 studios, 124 one-bedrooms, 98 two-bedrooms, 16 three-bedrooms. And another component of the tax abatement agreement, which was from the previous one, which we're transferring, is 10% of those total units need to be affordable at the 80% AMI. So that's something we haven't changed.
And just for the definition purposes, 80% of AMI ballpark, can you just explain what that means?
Yeah, so there's a calculation that occurs, and it changes based on the area median income. So every year, the state publishes one, and the way it works basically is that the developer every year has a consultant or somebody within the management company who's checking tenants' rents to confirm that they comply with those rent requirements. We're typically handing a report to town staff because you guys calculate it to see where you're at with the number of affordable units for the context of the 830G regulation. But it limits the amount of money that a tenant can use on their rent based on their total income.
Thank you. And so I just have one quick question for the record. The abatement is only on the residential portion of the property, not the commercial, or is it both the commercial and the residential?
It's on the full property, so the commercial buildings and the residential buildings. It is not on any of the personal property. So all the cars that will be there, I think in our, we did a shared parking report as part of the planning and zoning application. Our peak residential car number is 433 cars, so all those would be taxed as soon as they're registered in Cromwell.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? No. Okay. Mr. Bonneau, do you have a question?
Does this also apply to the retail aspect of any of this?
The retail, the commercial component of the project? Yes. Yeah, so what, if, the Schedule A, the Exhibit A, which is the abatement schedule, sets an assessed value of land and improvements, and that's for the whole property. So we didn't section or take out the commercial component or the residential component. Personal property, like there's restaurants proposed, the personal property in that would be taxed.
What percentage is commercial?
It's hard to, yeah, well, we have 10,000 square feet. I'm not sure the percentage because I don't know the total square footage when you put in all the apartments. 290,000. Okay. Yeah, 3% is the commercial.
Doesn't seem like much. Okay, thanks.
Welcome.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the council? Okay, seeing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the transfer. Let me just clarify.
Sure.
Is the motion, you need a motion to approve the transfer, or do you need a motion to approve the transfer with amendments?
The transfer with amendments, what your town attorney have reviewed was the original tax abatement agreement, which we then redlined for this project. So again, updating the date where we needed to pull that initial demolition permit to September 1. So yes, I think transferring it with the amendments as reviewed by the town attorney, I think would be sufficient.
So I'll accept a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion to accept with the amendments.
Second.
A transfer with the amendments?
Yes.
Okay. And a second, any further discussion on that? The only comment that I would have is we are very excited for this project. Please tear it down as soon as you possibly can.
Heard that loud and clear.
And if you need someone to swing a sledgehammer,
Okay.
I will gladly come out there and watch someone else swing a sledgehammer, because I don't think I can lift
You're
it
gonna
up.
need something bigger, yeah.
Okay, so motion made, seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the transfer and the amendments, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for your time. Welcome to
Thank you.
Cromwell, and congratulations. Demolishing. I was trying to think, demolition.
I
Demolition.
just want to make a comment. I want to thank the council for approving the transfer. This is a really key component for the town of Cromwell. This is a major gateway project, and it's going to be an incredible benefit to the community. And I just want to thank you all for your effort tonight.
And if I may, Mr. Popper,
Yes.
watching you over the years on EDC, if it wasn't for you, some of these things wouldn't happen. You do a fabulous job,
Thank you.
and compared to prior, we were known for not a very good town to deal with, and you brought that back
Thank-
to where people are just, plus we're the gateway to,
Yep.
this is gonna be the gateway to Cromwell too.
Well, I want to point out again that we have a great team. It starts with the town manager and all the town staff, and we're very fortunate.
Great
And
job.
It's a good place to work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving along to the tax refunds.
Motion approved. Motion approved 1 through 10.
Motion made by Al, seconded by Paula. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Chief of Police update. Chief? No, Chief, I have questions for you. Can't pass.
you do.
I've been emailing the chief and the captain, I think, every day for like the last couple weeks, so I apologize.
Oh, there's no reason to apologize. You have the,
They've got you blocked.
what?
Said they've got you blocked, so you don't have to apologize. Sorry.
Give away my trade secrets. Just a couple additions. We had a promotion to the sergeant position earlier this week. Detective Kyle Perricone was promoted to sergeant. He's started his patrol duties. And Monday, we had an incident at Attlebrook, and we were able to identify a suspect in that, so. Swatting incident.
Oh.
Any questions?
Start with my left. Any questions?
Am I right?
No, I'm good.
Okay, couple questions, Chief.
Yes.
Let's talk blocking roads off and how you want to handle that. And, you know, the Facebook folks have been out there asking about,
Yeah, I've talked to a few of them.
yeah, do you have any updates on any of those things? Anything you want me to be relaying to them or that you want to relay to the public on
Right now, it
that?
doesn't warrant any sort of roadblocks or road closures there.
Okay.
What we've done this year too is we're making contact with the apps, specifically Waze, and we're telling them that these roads are blocked. So when you put your address in, it's not going to route you as a side street to go down there. It'll say that it's blocked.
Are there going to be seahorses or, not seahorses, sorry.
That's all right.
Not
All right.
seahorses, what are they
I
called?
wish I was at the Cape right now, yes.
And an enemy.
Yeah, the
Sawhorses.
sawhorses, I'm sorry. I would rather them be seahorses. Are there going to be sawhorses at each of these? Okay,
Saddle them up.
okay.
Are you talking about the TPC?
Yes.
And then with regards to, I saw somebody's memo in there about the traffic lights on 372 being on the fritz,
Today?
within the last week.
He's been out of town.
Oh,
But I did.
I can comment on that.
okay, go ahead, Captain.
The Lawrence Captain stood up please. So we had a few issues with traffic lights. One at by where the AutoZone is by Willowbrook, and then one where the commuter lot is by Smith Drive. And complaints have been made to the DOT, so they should be coming out to monitor them and work on those and hopefully get them functioning properly. Sometimes we do get complaints. We go out there. We check to see if it's working properly, and it does appear to be working, so it seems to be like an intermittent type of thing. I don't know if it's based on traffic volume or where the cars are parked lined up in comparison to where the light is, but DOT is aware of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And I've been trying to encourage folks that, rather than posting on Facebook, that they should probably be calling the PD
That would be
non-emergency line.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to get the information directly to you, so thank you for that, Chief.
Oh, no problem.
Those were my questions. Anything else from anyone? Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you for your
thank you.
presence here.
Actually,
Oh.
maybe one more, if you, either one of you know, they're putting in new signal lights, and, where the concrete was poured. When do you foresee the new structures to be put in?
I haven't heard yet. I just know that
Can
there
you
is.
check on that, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh, there was a invitation to a Route 9 realignment, meeting with DOT. I got the email for it. I think I forwarded it to town managers. Would that be something you guys go to, or something that Lou goes to, or?
I wouldn't, it's on Route 9, I wouldn't have jurisdiction there.
Okay. Yeah, for the realignment and the highway project, I got an email inviting CEOs or their designees to attend some meeting in June.
What's that,
Lot-
James,
I thought
having
they
to do
dropped
with
that
getting
whole
rid
thing.
of
The traffic
lights
lights,
on
yeah.
9?
Okay, yeah. It was from like, I think it was the DOT.
I think it was, we attended a Zoom meeting,
Oh, okay.
Steve, myself, and John Harriman. It was for the elimination of retaining.
The retaining wall
Oh.
on Main Street.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that must be what it was.
Yep, yep. They invited us in quick before they go out for the public, just for town. So
Perfect.
we already attended that.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Lou, your turn.
Good evening. You have my updates in front. I got a couple to add. The track refurbishing project is slated to begin on June 15th. If you're not aware of that already, we had a Zoom meeting with the contractor a couple weeks ago, and we did ask staff to get it on social media and everywhere so the residents are aware. It's going to, June 15th, it's before the last day of school, but it's after graduation. So in speaking with Claudio and Lynn, they think there'll be, with the seniors being gone, there'll be sufficient. The parking lot clears out, so there'll be plenty of room to stage and get working, even with 2 or 3 days of school left. So that's one. And when I was here last week, or last month, I'm sorry, we recognized, Mike Conant as he retired, and I made you aware that Tommy Sheehan was promoted to fill his position. Following that, we posted for the assistant park and grounds foreman, and another internal promotion. Mr. Matt Baricchio has been promoted into that position, and they're both doing an outstanding job. So I look forward to seeing what they're going to do for us, but I think they're both excited. They're both out there sprinting, and you see them buzzing around all day long, and they're doing an outstanding job to this point. So I'm kind of optimistic about what the future holds there.
Thank you.
That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Lou? Wait, didn't we have something about?
We do. We'll move to his proposal.
Oh, okay.
But any general questions on his
No.
report? Okay, so Lou, can you explain your proposal?
Yeah, so if, for those of you that were here 12 months ago, we did something similar last year. Prior to 12 months ago, we had 4 seasonal positions, and a discussion was had with staff last spring, and we decided to we proposed eliminating 2 and swapping it in for 1 full-timer. So we're looking to do the same thing now. Right now, we have 5 full-time employees and 2 seasonals. We're looking to eliminate the seasonals and bring in a 6th full-time and call it a day. And the reason behind that is you don't know what you're going to get every year. We post the seasonal positions. Sometimes we get really good employees, and sometimes not so good. Sometimes you get guys that are available in April when we need them. Sometimes you got to wait for college students to come out in the middle of May, and you run the risk of losing them, at the end of August rather than having them till November. But more importantly, I believe it's the Affordable Care Act, Chief, that most towns ignored it for years, and last year it became, the town started to enforce it. So what that does to us is we bring on staff in the beginning of April. We can only keep them 40 hours a week for 120 calendar days, not working days. So sometime in the beginning of August, we're forced to drop them below 30 hours a week, 2 of them, because if we don't, we run the risk of having to give them health insurance. So last year, we took 2 good seasonals on. That's the good news. The bad news is in August, before the fall seasons blossom and we get really busy for a few months, we're juggling because they work 12 less hours a week, and we're staggering them. And so speaking with Tom and staff now, it was Tommy's idea, actually. Mr. Sheehan thought it makes sense. He can manage with 6 full-time guys. We don't have to, A, recruit every spring, B, we don't have to train, and C, we won't have to lose them, before the season is over. We'll have them for a full 40 hours a week through our busy months, which is around Thanksgiving, give or take. You'll see in the memo, Mayor, that it's a $1,200 plus increase in the salary line, but at least the first few years, there's a $30,000 plus savings in step adjustments, because Tom is at a lesser step than Mike was, Matt's at a lesser step than Tom was, and the new hire will be at step 1 when Matt, as a maintainer, was on top step. In addition to that, and I didn't even put it in that memo, we won't be paying unemployment. What's that?
It's in the memo that I presented to them.
With unemployment?
Unemployment.
Yeah, we'd be saving money in unemployment as well. So, and then lastly, it was successful last year. We floated the new position, and we have the same agreement with the union if approved. I'll take both positions and share them in December through March. It was a big benefit here in this building. They were down 2 staff, and even if we're at full staff, there's other projects that we can get to. An extra set of hands around will always come in handy. So we can keep them gainfully employed and busy 12 months a year, and I think it solves a lot of problems for us. And the goal all along is to make that operation self-sufficient, and I think we're there. Every year to this point, especially April and May during the spring setup, we were pulling from other divisions. Tommy hasn't asked for any help at all, and he's not worked overtime, and we have no complaints out there. So whatever they're doing out there, it's working good, and I'd just like to get the right person on board and make that a self-sufficient operation if possible.
Yes.
So, I worked this out and, went over it with the finance director. As, Mr. Spina alluded to, there's enough for, this fiscal year and enough, funding for next fiscal year. And, which gives then opportunity to look at it when preparing the budget for the following fiscal year. So that's, we're in, 25, 26, and then you'll have 27, 28, so fiscal year, enough for fiscal year 28, and you wouldn't be looking at it until fiscal year 29. And as Mr. Spina stated, this person, I did have a discussion with the union's in agreement, and, we'd be able to, pull this person and float them in any other, divisions within the Public Works Department, which proved to be a big asset this year, as we were down, building maintainers, and it really worked out well for us.
Will this, just a couple questions before I open it up to the rest of the council. Will this reduce overtime by having this extra staff person here, or no impact on overtime?
I don't think it'll be an impact one way or another. Again, you know, occasionally, what drives overtime in parks is you get a couple rainy days and they gotta catch up on mowing. But again, to this point, from late March, when we got on the fields to now, he's got 6 guys out there now, which is what will be if this is approved. And again, remarkably, he hasn't asked for any help, and they haven't worked any overtime, with the exception of we're mowing the WIS for the Board of Ed because their maintainer is out on workman's comp. And
most of their overtime is scheduled overtime.
Yeah. Just the weekend
for
coverage.
the
Yeah.
bathrooms and the,
Did the Board of Ed end up hiring that extra grounds maintainer?
I'm not aware if they, I think they proposed something part-time for July, and I'm not
we
sure.
haven't
Joe was
heard
gonna
from
get
the
a
Board
second.
of, we haven't, heard from the Board of Ed.
Okay, and then what is the cost of a health insurance family plan for an employee? What's the overall premium cost? 40,000?
No,
30?
probably in the neighborhood of, Sharon left.
Yep.
20-some odd thousand.
Okay. Do we offer any kind of incentive for folks not to take the town health insurance?
do.
Okay. Because, you know, when we're thinking about costs, we really have to, we do have to include the health insurance cost into the
We do.
overall. Okay, so, but we have some kind of incentive for
We do
people to
have
not
an
to.
incentive.
Okay. I'll open up for questions. Brian?
We currently have 6 people.
There's, when Mike retired, it brought us down to 4 full-timers we're interviewing actually, Tuesday to fill the one as a result of Mr. Varicchio going up.
He said you
So-
had 6, though, he's trying to.
Yeah, we have 4 full-timers and 2 seasonals right now.
And you're hiring a 5th
So- and
full-timer. There's a spot that needs to be filled.
Yeah, we'll be
Yeah,
filling
so you'll
one.
have 5 full-timers and 2 seasonals, unless we change that.
Unless you
Yep.
change it, we'll have 5 full-timers, and I'll be recruiting for someone, potentially. You know, I'm recruiting now for a full-timer. Both of the seasonals did apply. They're both fantastic, so we'll see how it plays out.
If I can add, that presents part of our problem. What happens is he'll end up having a vacancy, he'll have 2 good seasonals, we have a vacancy, and they'll apply, and then one of them becomes a full-timer, and now we're down on the seasonals.
Yeah, and if you look at the trend the last few years, before we added the position last year, and obviously before we're discussing this tonight, the ones that we found that come back for a second year, some come back for a third year, we've never had the full-time positions. You know, we're training them for a year or 2, and, you know, I got our former staff working in Berlin now, Southington, that's, you know, they're benefiting from our investing, you know, months, and in some case, seasons training them, and they're reaping the fruits of our labor, so to speak, you know. Because it takes a couple of months, a whole season, you know, you'll see the difference is when these guys come back for a second year, they're ready to go. They hit the ground running, you know, and, again, so trying to avoid that, investing money, training them, and seeing the other public works departments around us benefiting from that.
Any other questions, Brian? No. Any questions, Al? Any questions, Jack, Ann, or Jamin? One other question that I had, Lou, on this. So we would be eliminating the 2 part-time positions permanently. Have you done ever, and maybe the new HR director can help you on this, but like a study on other municipalities of similar field size or public space size and how many maintainers they have for the parks versus us?
Yeah, I think Rocky Hill, which has a little bit more acreage than us, has 7 full-time people.
Okay.
So, you know, 4 was certainly not enough, 5 probably isn't enough. And again, you know, Tommy seems to think if we recruit the right bodies, that 6 is a great number. I do, you know, we do have a backup if you know, weather hits us, or if, you know, we're getting ready for the Father's Day soccer tournament, if these things get scheduled as they have in the past, you know, I got a guy in solid waste I pull, so I think 6 is a good number. Certainly Tommy's making it work, but you know, we're equipped, we can be flexible and adaptable if we get weather or something comes up at us, you know, for a day or 2, we have day labor that we can.
I'm sorry, is this is the 6th position, or would this be a 7th position?
6.
This would be, okay, so we have 5 right now.
We have 5.
Plus
One's
2
currently
part-timers.
open and 2, yeah, but we would eliminate the 2 seasonals and add
Got
one more fulltime position.
Got it, so 6 would be our total
Total of
staffing.
6.
Got it. Okay, any further discussion? Alec? Go ahead.
I guess I'm a little bit uncertain about the total compensation. So you're going for people who aren't receiving things like health benefits and that kind of thing to someone who will. They'll be getting paid in total about the same, but when you add in the benefits, that is a big jump.
Yeah. But like I said, the first 2 years, even if the health insurance package is there, the savings is definitely there in steps. And then I'm not sure what we pay our 2 seasonals and unemployment every winter, but that's a cost that'll go away and go towards the benefits as well. So if we're paying 2 people a few $100s each a week from December through March every year.
I value expertise. I think that's what you're saying as well. I totally get that. I'm just trying to figure out what the total cost of this idea is.
So I think the first, as the town manager alluded to, the first 2 or 3 years, I don't think there's gonna be any burden at all on the taxpayers. Between the step adjustment, you know, everyone's on a lower step, there's a $33,000 savings right off the rip, plus unemployment. So I'd actually say the first couple of years is probably a net savings to the taxpayers. Yes, inevitably, when 3, 4, 5 years from now, when all the employees start to get step adjustments, and assuming they all need health insurance, if they don't have it from a parent or a spouse, there will be an impact. But I think the first few years, it's probably revenue positive, and, you know, 2, 3, 4 years from now, that'll shift.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion to eliminate the 2 seasonal employees from the Public Works Parks and Grounds Department in favor of hiring a full-time Parks and Ground maintainer who will serve as a floater off-season.
Motion moved.
Made by Jamin, seconded by Al. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, good evening.
Lou, one quick favor to ask, sorry. I know you want to get home. As we start these different projects, the track, the sidewalk replacements, especially with folks asking me over the last week, what are we getting for our money? Like, where's our money going? I really want to try to do a better job of documenting, you know, what their investments are going towards. So, especially on big ticket projects like the track or big ticket projects like the sidewalk repairs, if your guys could take, you know, before and after photos, just so we can show to the taxpayers, you know, your money is going towards measurable improvements.
Engineering's been doing that all along. We always take before and after when we pave roads, because sometimes people will allege we damaged something. So they've been diligent about that all along, but,
Maybe put it on your
I'll
webpage or
reinforce it.
something,
I'll
just
reinforce it. They
somewhere
do it-
that we
they
can
do it anyways.
show it.
Yep.
I agree with you. Is it okay, we'll put it
Yeah, because like, I got a lot of feedback over the last week from people saying to me, you know, taxes are going up 7%. What are we getting for it? What are we investing in? And, you know, we see it because we come to all these meetings and we see the incremental change. But I want the residents to be able to see it. I want them to know where it's going and understand, you know. And I remember when the middle school was going through its pre-renovation process, and they had those photos of, you know, pipes bursting through the walls and garbage bags over sinks and, you know, all the other stuff that was the walls with the wires, and it's like, oh wow, that's pretty abysmal. And I think it's important to be able to see, you know, before and afters. I think sometimes the photo speaks 1,000 words.
Will do.
Thank you. We have no unfinished business, we have no new business, so we'll move on to approval of the minutes. I'll take an approval of the April 8th and April 27th.
So moved.
Paula, Jack, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Now I'll take a reappointment to Senior Services from Ann Jordan and Youth Services for Judy Benevento.
Motion to approve A and B.
Made by Al? Second by Jack. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Next, informational items, you have distributed to you the Friday, June 5th, opening day of the farmers market. That has been passed out to you. Just make sure to RSVP so that they know whether or not you'll be able to attend that. Any other informational items?
If I may.
Go ahead.
I don't know, but I heard that a lot of the town hall people, et cetera, were not notified, reference to the Memorial Day Parade.
Correct. We have not received any, I checked with Amanda, we have not received any notice. No invitations.
Why is it why isn't it on the 31st?
On the 30th,
30th. It is on the 30th,
but 11 o'clock in the morning.
11 o'clock. We have not received anything.
They dropped the ball
I saw it somewhere, where did I see it?
on Facebook.
Oh, all right.
I'll look for it and we'll share it on our page or something.
Yeah.
Because I have so many people calling.
Yeah. So the 30th at 11 a.m. is the Memorial Day Parade. You know, what I will say is, you know, this is a year where there have been military service members that have died in the line of duty. And I think this, every year is important, but I think just reminding people what it means to make the ultimate sacrifice. So I'm hoping even though it's a Saturday, even though it's at 11, that we will still have a good turnout because, you know.
We always got a better turnout. It used to be 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so I hope we have a good turnout.
It was in the rare reminder or something, now that I think about it.
So, 11 a.m. on
Is everybody marching?
the 30th. I think normally we all walk. We're all invited to walk together, so. Unless someone wants to drive us. Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Al. Second by Paula. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjourning at 8:54, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention, motion carries, and we are adjourned before 9. Dairy Queen is still